allowing myself to be slow. Now, before I dive into it, I wanted to give you a bit of context. So, it's currently my first year of uni after taking a gap year because of what is obviously the reasons of most people taking a gap year, which is never really, getting to know themselves, remarks, all that, and then it not working out, and then it working out. It goes either way, right? But then I finally landed up in a university, and my first goal was, okay, what's the best way I can avoid being myself, right? Now, don't attack me too quickly, right? The aspect of myself that I wanted to change was my social aspect, right? Because I already knew I wasn't that much of a social person, and people already knew me as some guy who wasn't exactly sociable. Although once you get to know him, you're likable, right? That was that kind of person. But I really wanted to change that running into uni, and now I'm thinking about it. That's exactly when my problem started because I went head first, and mind you, right? I ended up at a student accommodation, right? It's like a 2-minute walk away from the university I ended up going to, right? So basically, most of the people here, they go to that university. And when I tell you I failed my university debut before it even started, when I tell you I failed that, because I was in such a rush to try and change the image I wanted people to view me in, because I was in such a rush to be something I wasn't, I actually ended up tripping over my own foot. Not once, not twice, but every single day being here. And I'm telling you, it's like every small mistake started to add up on each other, piling up because I was always in a rush, right? If someone greeted me, I kid you not, someone greeted me one time. I somehow choked on my own spit mid trying to get a word or a greeting back because I was so surprised that, oh, someone actually greeted me randomly, that I choked on my own spit and tried to say hi after that. And it was so awkward. The only thing I'm glad is that I didn't seem to be paying attention, but every moment felt like my throat had should have just been hung right there and then. Day two, right? Day three, okay, I'm walking up the stairs. Okay, a group of people started going down the stairs because there's a lot of stairs at the student accommodation, right? They start going down the stairs. The moment I look at them, somehow, some way, I'm like a white girl in a horror movie from 1996 and I trip on air? I trip, mind you, it's not even me going up the stairs. I just trip on that same like stair. And I fall and I lose any aura I thought I was gonna have going into this uni life. It was gone in that instant. It was a group of 7 people just watching me as I accidentally tripped. Those those people, they were like, "Oh, big boss, are you okay? Are you doing all right, big boss? Ah, you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine." As they walk past that embarrassing scene of me just tripped up on the floor, and I just had to look down like like next 5 days after that. But obviously, I was gonna look down anyway. Because it wasn't even just that. Every time I tried to be something I wasn't, it was so unnatural to the point where I don't know. I just started like reverse manifesting shit happening. Right? Anything I wanted to go right went wrong, and anything that I thought would go right turned in its own wheel. How did just existing turned on its own wheel on me? Like it just turned on me. Somehow, I messed up every interaction that could have been a possible friendship for God knows what reason, right? My body just didn't respond with me because I was trying to be something else. I was trying to be what I wasn't. Obviously, I should be allowed to try and be more social, even if that's not my core thing, right? But the world didn't seem to agree with me, right? The world kept making me slip on my own shoes, trip on my own spit, fall on my own knees, and tumble at any possible situation. And that led me to just one weekend. One weekend, and mind you, the university hadn't even started. One weekend, I had already developed mentality of I'm genuinely just not meant to be that type of person, right? I was insanely close to going back to that neat mentality of I'm just going to stay in my room, mind my business, and do my own thing. And hopefully, at some point, things are going to get better. Although, honestly, when things like that happen, it doesn't really get better. You don't give things a chance to get better, and thus you make no progress in as a person. So it was either I try, fail a lot, and I mean a lot more than I was really feeling, or just be content with being alone. But I didn't realize my main issue was I was trying to rush things way too quickly. I was trying to get interactions too quickly. I was trying to get side quests too quickly. I was trying to be noticed too quickly. And in doing that, I didn't give myself time to even process the environment that I moved myself into, right? Because this was a new environment. This is my first year, right? Obviously, the whole thing about getting to university, you want to be. The first thing people think about is, okay, how am I gonna make friends? I'm in a new environment. I'm with new people. How do I make friends? How do I interact with others? How do I show myself, right? But knowing the kind of person I should have taken a step back, evaluated where I am, where I stand, how I stand, and think about where to go from there. Because it's a whole year, right? Even like it's a whole year of me being here. There's no reason to give up in a week. I have my whole life ahead of me. 1 week isn't even a fraction of that. And I was down in the dumps. When I tell you I was down in the dumps, I'm telling you, I went a week straight just staying, maybe not a week, like 4 days straight, just going in my room. I don't know. I think I just drew. Mind you, I hadn't drawn for like 5 months because of a certain incident. Tell you about that in another video, right? But if I just given myself time, I think I could have avoided feeling the way that I did. Although obviously the incidents that happened weren't exactly my fault, but I could have handled my own emotions better and responded in turn and maybe made a bit more friends than I do now. And at the point where I am, uni has started. I have zero friends, zero. I know that's depressing. I have afternoon classes, so every time I go to school alone. Every time I come back, I go back alone, right? But it's something I've gotten used to, but not really getting used to. Like I understand that I can give myself time. It's gonna happen at some point. I'm gonna meet my people. It's not impossible for me to make friends because at the end of the day, I've been through high school. I had friends in high school. If I can do that in high school, who says I can't do that here? And I feel like that's the mentality we all have to have. I'm not saying do that, right? But I'm saying this is what has worked for me. This is how I handle it. I just accepting it, but understanding that it's not the end of the world if things go bad for 1 or 2, or even a week, right? Things will change, things will get better. If they don't, try to make them better again, you know? Fail a bit more, right? Because at the end of the day, failing means that you tried. And if you don't try, you never have the chance to succeed. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say, right? I know it wasn't like a very specific video, but I just wanted to get the point across that taking it slow somehow can do you more justice than rushing into things and tripping over your own feet, making you feel like, yeah, no. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to get across. Stay peaceful, stay humble. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.